As part of their campaign against Trump, corporate Democrats and partisan Democrats used what I think is the worst tactic possible and the worst argument imaginable, because what they did is they portrayed Trump as uniquely bad and evil and other Republicans as now reasonable because, hey, they're not Trump. Well, now this strategy has reached its comical but logical conclusion. Look at what happened on The View just the other day.
Even the former president, George W. Bush, is breaking his silence about the current administration, saying he doesn't like the racism and the name-calling that's going on, and that the media is indispensable for democracy. He took a whole bunch of hits. Nixon took hits. Nixon had such a humorous thing about himself that he went on laughing, which was an entertainment show back in the day. You know, Don, get a sense of humor, dude. If you're gonna do this job, you better learn to laugh.
But you know, it's been... You started with George Bush, right? Yeah. The thing about this is that Donald has now done something I thought he would never do. I like him. I like the fact that George Bush... I like George Bush now, is what I'm trying to say here. I'm having trouble saying it.
You actually like W.
I mean, I was after this guy for 8 years. And now he has done something. He's made me like George Bush. I might even buy one of his paintings.
Well, remember,
I love George Bush.
remember that he was the only Republican during his administration that stood up against him and said, we don't need a wall, we need a better program. And the Republicans gave him such hell about that he had to say, okay, fine, go build the wall. They never did, but, you know, I don't mind a president that you disagree with. That's what you're supposed to do.
Yeah, it's just a disagreement. You know, a war criminal who invaded a country that didn't attack us, occupied it, and killed minimum hundreds of thousands of civilians, set up a worldwide torture regime, set up NSA spying, which is a brazen, disgusting, overt violation of the Constitution and your protection from unreasonable search and seizure. That's causing the Great Recession and collapsing the economy. Well, it's just disagreement. It's just a disagreement when somebody invades a country that didn't attack us and occupies it and kills hundreds of thousands of civilians and tortures people. It's just a disagreement. It's not a big deal. Okay, what you're witnessing here is a victory for the right. Because here's what happened. There's this thing called the Overton Window, which is, to sum it up quickly, it's the spectrum that is viewed as the parameters of a legitimate, respectable debate and discussion politically. So, in the United States, we already have an Overton window that's very far to the right on the political spectrum. The furthest left you can go is a guy like Bernie Sanders, who internationally, when you look at other modern nations, he's a moderate. They don't even view him as a leftist. Now, with something like this, you've just shifted the Overton window so far to the right that we're in Genghis Khan territory. We're in Attila the Hun territory. We're in fucking Mussolini territory. When you have now completely and utterly normalized, and in fact agreed with, and now you're saying you like a war criminal, because at least the war criminal isn't Trump. So this strategy of painting Trump as this uniquely bad Republican, and oh my God, this means all the other Republicans are reasonable. Look at the result. Now, hey, war criminal is just a disagreement. Massacring civilians, just a disagreement. Torture, just a disagreement. Crashing the economy through deregulation and shitty policies is just a disagreement. No big deal. No, but it is a big deal. He should be rotting in a prison cell right now, George W. Bush should, if there's justice. Dick Cheney, same thing with him. Now, Donald Trump, we're getting there. I mean, he said we have to take out their families. We have to take out their families. We should kill civilians on purpose. And then in his first military raid, he killed 30 civilians, including an 8-year-old girl. And then, acts like, oh, nothing went wrong. It was a tremendously successful raid, believe me. So he's hard. I got no love for Donald Trump by any stretch of the imagination. But I also have no love for George W. Bush. In order to try to portray Trump as the worst of all worlds, they've now rehabilitated George W. Bush's image, which is a fucking crime, man. Don't do that. Don't do that. They took the bait. They took the bait. Now every other Republican, how many Democrats are now cheering Lindsey Graham and John McCain because Lindsey Graham and John McCain want to use hawkish rhetoric against Russia and escalate to World War III? and they want to be more standoffish with them and use more Cold War rhetoric. Democrats hated that shit under Obama early on, when Obama was trying to be more peaceful with Russia. But now that Trump, there's questions, the connections between the Trump administration and Russia, and oh my God, maybe we won't go to World War III. Now Democrats are cheering on Lindsey Graham and John McCain, who are making the same hawkish arguments that they've always made. So now war's good, because maybe Trump, because of questionable connections with Russia, maybe we won't escalate now. Well, now I want to escalate. It's so stupid, it's so mindless, and the actual term for it, the accurate term for it is reactionary.